Ferrera is following up her Oscar-nominated role in Barbie by starring in the intense new movie, and when I say it's intense, The Lost Bus. It's based on the real-life story of a teacher and a school bus driver, played by Matthew McConaughey, who put their lives on the line to rescue children from a deadly California wildfire. Take a look.
Kevin, we have to find water or she's gonna stroke out. We have to get off the bus now. Right there, right here. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we can't stop for long. I'll be 2 minutes.
No. You need to stay on the bus. If the fire comes, you have to drive. Let me go. I can do it. 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I can do it. I can do it.
Please welcome back America Ferrera.
Last. You look
oh
exactly
my gosh,
the same.
I don't know, because we missed each other for the Barbie tour because it was the actor strike. So I didn't see you.
Right.
So it's been a couple years.
Yeah.
But everyone looks exactly the same.
Yet I watched that monologue over and over and over again. But welcome to the table again. We love having you. You've been such a powerful voice for the Latino community. And on Tuesday, Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor was here at the table, and we asked her about her dissent to the court's recent ruling that would allow the detainment of people for looking Latino or speaking Spanish. I know this hits close to home, so what's your reaction?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank God for Justice Sotomayor.
Yeah.
For people who still speak with a voice of reason and the values that we recognize as American values. As an American, I'm angered and terrified to watch our constitutional rights be eroded by the Supreme Court. Everyone should be angered and terrified by everyone. If any American can get pulled over because of the language they speak or the color of their skin or because they work in a low-wage job, who's safe? So as an American, I'm pissed off. And as a daughter of immigrants who grew up in California, oftentimes finding ourselves in the center of heated conversations about immigration, nothing close to what we're living in now. I remember what it felt like to be a child in elementary school, going to school, hearing whisperings and not knowing what that meant. And what I know right now is that there are children who are terrified. There are families who are terrified of their lives being destroyed in a moment. And so I think about them. And I think that we all have an opportunity to remember who we are and what we believe and what our values are and what we care about. And to recognize that there are people suffering and that we all have the capacity to be human and to reach out and to care for each other. And so those are some of my thoughts and reactions around it.
Well done by a girl named America. We are commemorating the 24th anniversary of September 11th, a day that affected everyone in many
you guys are really giving it to me.
I know.
It's one of those days. It is. And you were very young. Even younger than that one over there.
I think it's about same age.
No, I was 17. I was a senior in high school.
Yeah. So tell us about how it impacted you.
It had a massive impact on me. I mean, to be a senior in high school, I was about to go into college. I actually decided to study international relations with a focus on peace and conflict resolution because the world blew up for me and for my generation of we thought we understood. And I think a lot of us realized we were living in tiny little bubbles. Even if you were straight A, top of your class, there was so much we didn't know. And so I imagine so many of my peers became hungry to understand what is this world we're living in. And as we know, everything changed and has continued to change. So it had a massive impact on me personally.
Well, America, I'm going to do a hard pivot here because we have to talk Ugly Betty. You starred in one of my most beloved and one of America's most beloved shows, Ugly Betty, from 2006 to 2010. You won an Emmy for your performance. And earlier this year, you joined your co-stars Michael Urie, who's going to be on our show tomorrow, and Becky Newton, and you're on a rewatch podcast, Still Ugly. And you guys are watching the old episodes, and you got surprisingly emotional looking back. Why do you think that was?
Oh my God, all we did on that show was cry. We are obsessed with each other. That whole cast is my family. I'm godmother to Anna's son. I got married at Vanessa Williams' house. Judith Light married me and my husband.
Sounds like a weird dream I had last month.
And you know, we knew in the moment when we were making that show that it was lightning in a bottle, that we got to be with people we loved. And when that show was done, we were heartbroken, of course, to lose the show, but to not get paid to be together every day. Yeah. And we've stayed in each other's lives. And, you know, I think for so many of us, that was such an early time in our careers. I was 21 years old when I started Ugly Betty, and so it set the bar so high. And they're my family. I mean, and I love that, you know, people who weren't even alive when we finished the show are rediscovering the show, and it's really fun.
Well, your new film, talk about a high bar, because you're telling a true story. It's called The Lost Bus. It stars you and Matthew McConaughey, who will be here later this month. And it's produced by our friend Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
And it's based on a true story, as I said, and those are my favorite as a moviegoer to watch.
Yeah.
You give it light. It's the story of a teacher named Mary and a bus driver named Kevin, who heroically rescued 22 children during the 2018 wildfires in Paradise, California. It is, to say the least, a harrowing tale. What was it like to physically film those bus scenes?
It was a lot. It was intense, you know, and it gives it an extra intensity when you know you're telling a true story. And,
Yes.
I mean, you were saying, Whoopi, at the end of one of the other segments of like, we need to remember our everyday heroism, how we're capable of so much. And this story is a true story. And I played Mary, who's a real life woman and teacher, and Matthew plays Kevin. And these are two people, a bus driver and a school teacher, who in the midst of a disaster made the choice to take care of other people's babies when their own children were out in that fire. And you know what the great news is that other people took care of their babies. And their children made it out. And it is a story of the kinds of stories that we need to remember our humanity, and that superheroes don't wear spandex in real life.
Exactly.
And superheroes...
Just to the club.
Just to the club. Sometimes they can wear spandex. So yeah.
This film is fantastic.
Thank you.
It is so good, and it's just so realistic. So realistic.
It is.
And I understand that you got to meet and speak with the real Mary.
Yeah.
Right? And what did you learn from her about her experience? There you are.
Oh, yes, I love her. She's so tender and sweet. What was the question? Sorry.
What did you learn about her from her real experience?
Well, she was a teacher for 20 years. She knew all those kids. She knew their siblings. She knew their parents. She grew up in that town. She still teaches at that elementary school. She is a dedicated member of her community. And so she's such a beautiful human. And, you know, one of the early things we talked about was, for her, such a big part of the experience was showing up for these kids in the way they needed her. And so even though she had everything at stake as a personal human being, her children were out there, she couldn't communicate with them, you know, she had everything going on for her, she had to put on her soldier mask and show up for duty and sing to those kids, play games with those kids, hand out candy to try to and what she talked about was that it wasn't just their physical survival that she was concerned about. She felt like she had to protect their mental survival, the trauma that they'd experienced. And so she had to put herself somewhere else to be able to show up for these kids in this way. And for me as an actress, what was so compelling about taking on the role and helping portray the essence of that was to also explore that we're all human and that at a certain point, we can't just soldier on, and humanity cracks through. And so that's what we talked about, Paul and I, nonstop, of what's the opportunity here to show that we fight and we show up, and at a certain point, we've got to accept certain truths, that we're all human, and there's going to be an end of the line.
Yeah.
Well, it's very much like Luke Geese with Anne Frank. You know, those heroes, you never think that you're gonna be a hero. You never think you have it in you. But when you put on the line, you step up.
Okay, America, I have to say, we are both this season on Finding Your Roots. Yay. And it is something so many people at this table have done, and I've been just like dying to do. So I know you can't talk about much, but what can you say about your overall experience?
Just that it was life-changing, like literally life-changing, and I feel so privileged and honored that I've recovered stories and photos and information that I can hand to my children. You know, it's really
They give you a book.
Yes, they give you
life.
this beautiful book. And to think, it's really striking to think how in one generation, 2 generations, whole stories get lost. And like how powerful it is to reclaim those and how it changes your sense of yourself. It's amazing.
Is there one thing that stood out, like, oh, I didn't know that?
Well, that's probably
Not
the
yet.
sticker,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, a
But you're gonna
lot.
have to watch the show.
Yeah, I know that.
in order to find it. But The Lost Bus debuts in select theaters on Friday, September 19th. It premieres globally October 3rd on Apple TV+.